Hi everyone, so I want to give you the ultimate guide to getting beautiful nails using your Jamberry wraps if you have domed nails. Now I want to quickly just explain there is a difference between curvy and domed. Everybody's nails on the entire face of the planet, they have a slight curve to them. This is my thumb. I consider it curvy. You see how it's pretty much flat going across, but it is curved going side to side, and that's how most people's nails are. Mine are still pretty curvy, but they're flat on the top. A domed nail is different, and all the rest of my nails are domed. You can see it curves a ton from bottom to top and side to side. So there's a ton you can see here. I'll try and pull. It is super, super curved. So being curved each way makes it more like domed. And that's when it gets tricky with wraps. Putting on wraps is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be complicated and stressful, or you get annoyed because there's wrinkles. So I have 6 different finishes on right now. I'm going to very quickly go through and tell you the best application for each of these 6. I don't have tint and I don't have luster, but I'll mention those 2 here in a minute. So for matte, if you like the matte finish and you have domed nails, this one I use what's called the reverse warming method. I will post a link to Beauty and Jams. She posted a video on how to do it, and I'll quickly show you here at the end, but I'll make sure I give her credit because she thought it up, not me. And you basically put it on cold. You warm it from the graphic side, not the adhesive side, and then you pull at the corners. If you have domed nails, it will be a lot of pulling, a lot. And the matte, they're some of the thinnest wraps, and so it goes really easily. And I did this yesterday, and it still looks good. Just a really quick note, the darker your wrap is, the less likely you are to see any imperfections. And I'm even getting close here, and maybe you might be able to see the one that I'm thinking of, but it's harder on those to see imperfections than light wraps, and I'll show you an imperfection on this wrap. This is Glossy. Glossy wraps, I do not recommend using that method. I recommend using the clipper method. They're a bit thicker. When you heat them and stretch them and pull them, they shrink back, unfortunately, because they're so thick. And you can see I had this like perfect last night. It was beautiful using that reverse warming method, and you can see this huge wrinkle right there. Hopefully you can see that. With a lighter colored wrap, you are more likely to see an imperfection, so just keep that in mind. So for glossy wraps, I recommend the clipper method, which I'll show you in a minute. The metallic wrap, you can use that reverse warming method. It is a thinner wrap. It did a really good job. The couple of little imperfections I attribute to user error, so don't look at that and be like, oh, it didn't work. It will. They stretch easily. They hold pretty well. I did size down. With that method, the reverse warming, you have to size down. There's about that much space on each side of my nail. You can see, you have to, because you're gonna be pulling so much at the corners and stretching it down to your nail, the corner of your nail, that you need to have it sized down, at least 1 or even 2 sizes. Sparkle wraps. These guys are the toughest. I promise you, I did this probably 4 or 5 times yesterday. Different methods, different ways, trying the same one over and over. It was beautiful. It was perfectly flat last night. I did the baggy method afterwards, and you can see that ginormous wrinkle. It's huge. With a sparkle wrap, I recommend doing the baseball method, which I'll also show you. It does not manipulate as well. You have to stretch the heck out of it, and it just won't hold up to all that stretching. With the satin wraps, it went on so smooth, just like the metallic and the matte, which is what this is a combo. And so I do recommend the satin wraps for the reverse warming method. Again, just a little disclaimer, because this one's absolutely perfect. This is my curved nail, not my domed nail. So that's why it's completely perfect. I did do it on this one, and there is just a little wrinkle, but it's not too bad. And again, I attribute that more to user error than to it, the method not working. A clear wrap, I did the reverse warming, and it works on clear wraps as well. Again, you have to size down, which is fine, and you want to make sure that you get the wrap completely cool before you sand off the excess. So I have 3 empty nails here, and what I'm going to do is show you really quickly, if you have domed nails, how to get a perfect application. I'm going to show you the three that I mentioned. So first I will show you the clipper method. So I have my wrap right here. I have my nail trimmers, and my nails are prepped, ready to go. My mini heater is on. And so let me go ahead. And with this, you warm it just like you normally would do a normal Jamberry application. You get it warm so it's pliable. And I'm gonna put it right here on my nail. All right. So I have it on, and I like to go from bottom to top first for this method, and then side to side. And you're gonna stop right about halfway, and you can see all that wrinkling starting, okay? And that's normal, that's why we use the clippers here in a second. So then you go to the top and go side to side there as well. Probably helps if I get it on straight too. You're gonna go side to side there, and you can see that doing that forms one wrinkle on the side, and it's gonna form one wrinkle on this side as well. And so what you're gonna do is you're going to use your nail clippers to just clip off that little wrinkle right there at the end. Okay, so let me just look at these here for a sec and get it ready. I do recommend using your cuticle pusher, which I'll do here in a minute. And right here, where the 2 wraps are meeting and creasing, it needs to be touching. And it's not focusing in, sorry, but it has to touch right there. The wrap has to completely meet and touch itself for this to work without leaving a gap there. So here, so you can see my 2 big creases right there. I'm going to use my nail trimmers, make sure they're curved nail trimmers, and I'm just going to clip those little creases there. And you just clip them right off. You'll have a nice flush finish, and I recommend going over it with the heat and your cuticle pusher again. You can see now it is flat. You don't even see where I cut. See? So I recommend just heating it again, using your cuticle pusher and going along the line this way and this way, okay? And then sand off the excess, which I'll do here really quick. And I do recommend using the baggy method. And if you haven't heard of it, I'll show you that here in just a second. And if you don't like your tips to be rough, a lot of people use like a glass file. Instead, just grab your buffer and just buff, boom, smooth wrap. And you can see it looks fantastic. This is my most domed nail, and the wrap is one I should have sized down. I shouldn't have to size down. And it's beautiful. No wrinkles, nothing. It looks fantastic. Sorry, I grabbed a bag. So for the baggy method, if you've heard of it and don't know what it is, you take a plastic bag and you pull it tight over the tip. You're gonna heat it for just a second so that it keeps that tip nice and flat. You can see it kind of stretched the plastic and warmed up a little, and you're gonna have a fantastic finish. So that's what the baggy method is if you've never heard of it. It's pretty easy. I like to do it after I file my nail. All right, next, I'm gonna show you the baseball method. I typically like to do it cold, so I'll post a link on how to do that. You're gonna take your wrap, and here is a sparkle, which is why I'm showing you with the sparkle. You're gonna cut little notches, you can see that, right into your wrap. It depends on how big the wrap is, how much you want to cut a notch. So if you downsize your wrap, or size down your wrap, it can be a little bit smaller. This one's going to fit my ring finger perfectly. And so you can see the size of the notch I did there. So I'll show you how to do it cold. You can do it warm, you can heat it up first. Just with this one, because there's those notches, it wants to kind of bend there. And so I like to put it on cold first. So here's my sparkle wrap. going onto my nail, and I can take a look here and make sure it's going to fit on the sides. I'm just going to push it a little, just from the bottom to the top, and I'm going to heat it. And then because I cut the notch, I can go straight across beautifully in the top, and then you're going to want to come along and you're going to push until the notches meet. And hopefully you can see that the notches have met, and there's no wrinkles, there's no creases. This other side, it did overlap a little bit, so you can always lift it and trim it. Just for the sake of the video, I'm not going to, but just to show you, you can see it is completely flat all the way around, okay? And you can't even see where I cut those notches. So that's how to get a really good mani with a sparkle wrap. Again, just really quickly, and normally I let these cool down. Just for the sake of the video, I want to show you how to get it done. So I have all the excess off. Just gonna buff it so it's a smooth edge, and there you go, a perfect sparkle manicure on a domed nail. Last, I'm going to show you the reverse warming method. Again, I'll post a video or a link, sorry, to her video to show you. Because it was really exciting. I was so excited, like, yes, this is the answer, and it only worked with some of the finishes. So with a metallic or a satin or a matte, I recommend this finish. So what you do is you actually put it on your nail first, and you place it right where it needs to be, okay? You leave all this excess there because you're going to be pulling at it here in just a second. And the nice thing about this is you can actually get it perfectly centered before you heat it. So it's on, just barely touching, you heat it, and what you're going to do is you're going to pull, and you're going to pull, and you're going to pull down and over as well. So you're pulling kind of that way, and straight. This one is also sized down to this nail, so it should actually look all right. But you can see there's a ton of excess nail on both sides. So there it is. So if you don't want to have that much showing, it is a lot actually showing, then that's why I don't recommend using that method with this kind of wrap, but just for the sake of the video, I wanted to show you how to do it. Voila, so that is the reverse heating method. So all of that stretching and pulling, it just doesn't work well with the glossy wraps because they're so thick. It just naturally, even after it cools, it just shrinks back so much that it makes wrinkles. And it doesn't work very well, but I wanted to show you how to do it with a glossy wrap on, so you could see how it works. If you have flat nails or just like curved nails, it'll totally work. Domed nails, it won't work, unfortunately, with a glossy wrap. I wanted to wrap it up by letting you know why I chose the different methods for the sparkle wrap. So the sparkle wrap, it has like that gray backing adhesive, and so that's why I choose the baseball method, which normally I don't like. I don't like cutting them ahead of time because sometimes the cuts are too big, sometimes they're too small. You saw mine were too small and it overlapped. And so that's why I don't like to normally do it, except for with sparkles. And the reason is because that gray adhesive on the back, you can see it almost when you cut it with the clippers, because when you're doing the clipper method, you're getting your wrinkle in your wrap, and you have it touching all the way like at the base. Well, right here, that's the adhesives touching, and when you clip it, you end up seeing just a little smidge of that darker color, and I'll kind of show you here on this one, if I can get it close enough. I don't know if you can really see, but you kind of almost see that. And I even have like the wrap pushed all the way together, so for whatever reason you can just kind of see through, even though, you know, it's all the way together. But with the baseball method, I cut it beforehand, and you don't end up seeing that incision at all. So that's why I like it for the sparkle better. even though normally I don't recommend the baseball method because I don't feel comfortable with cutting wraps before they're on your nail. If you have darker sparkle wraps, so like the tungsten or any of the darker, like the dark blues, dark purples, black, etc., you're not going to see that incision from the clipper, so totally use the clipper method. Obviously, it's my favorite. And with lighter wraps, the clipper method is fine, especially like on a glossy where it just has like the clear adhesive. You're really not going to see, you know, the cut mark. But for whatever reason, it's just the sparkles that do that, and that's why I don't recommend the clipper method really for that one initially. And I think that's it. If you have any questions, because the whole domed, curvy, all that stuff, the words get thrown around interchangeably and they're not always the same thing. So definitely I hope you understand regular nails are curved nails in the most general sense. But curved nails and domed nails aren't the same thing, and they do get thrown around interchangeably. Remember, curved nails are going to be flat this way but curved side to side, which is really most people, and some will curve more than others. And so you really won't have a problem ever applying the wraps, but it's the domed nails, like all the rest of my nails, that have so much curve this way and this way that you know, you had to be careful which finishes you use and which technique you use for those finishes. So if you have any questions, if anything maybe wasn't quite clear, if you need any follow-up, just comment below and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions.